Welcome, everyone. My name is Ryan, and we are back with more Unreal World. There it is, popping up. Hello, hello, folks. This is the second live stream I've done. If you're watching me on YouTube, this will be the second upload for this character here. Let's take a quick look at. Oops, I'm still on the other screen here. Let's take a quick look at his physical profile. There he is. Yes, handsome looking gentleman. Only 16 years old, but we're trying to survive. There he is, Consolus. What's up, buddy? HD currently looting a burning mansion. I might die. Oh, be careful. Hold on, I just realized I gotta turn on the stream overlay, or the chat overlay. Where do we put that? Hold on, let's figure this out. Maybe down at the bottom? Let's see. Unlock this. There we go. Maybe about right there. So, boom. All right. Well, good luck to you, Consolus. I hope you can survive, buddy, and I hope your character here in the Unreal world can survive too. But if you are watching on YouTube, I've got a playlist linked in the description, so get all caught up with that first stream. We had a successful hunt. What's up, Matza? How's it going, buddy? It's good to see you, my friend. Thanks for dropping by the stream, dude. But we're playing a little Unreal World. I don't think you made it for the first live stream. Maybe you did. I can't remember now exactly, but it's a pretty old game, originally developed in 1992, I think, or 93. Super old, but still currently being updated to this day. So the real goal is to not hit the wrong commands, because of course being a roguelike uses the keyboard. It's very similar in a lot of ways to Cataclysm, especially certain key bindings crossover, but they do different things. Current plan is to jump from the first floor into safety. Ooh, that could be an interesting outcome. So let's take stock of our situation. We're cool, weary. It is morning, so our sleep cycle's a little bit off. Since he's weary, we're going to need to go to bed. But there is some stuff on the ground. We've got a winter fur, which is amazing. Some bones. Spruce withies, we'll have to turn those into cordage for sure, for sure. Now, the elk fur, this is what we're going to need to outfit ourselves with some more clothing, because we don't have very much, and winter is coming. So we've got a cloak and a hood. I believe we can go ahead and whip up some gloves. There's a couple pieces we don't need any cordage or thread for, so. Let's see. Matza says, it's going well. Good. I was just on the server testing how well Steam Deck performed on it. How does it go? How does it go with Vintage Story? That's interesting. Okay, so do we have food? We've got 7 tasty roasted cuts. I think our goal today is going to be to start to move eastward towards this culture. This is the Quaka tribe here. I'm named after a little bird that we'll see in the world occasionally. But these people will trade us some fine cordage, which is what we need to further make more clothing. So as we go, we're going to set up little shelters along the way, kind of what we were doing in the first stream. And of course, if we get the opportunity to do any hunting, we will definitely take it. But actually, let me look at this map again. Let's go ahead and zoom into it a little bit so we can see our location. And we have this spot marked. Yeah, there's elk fur and drying meat here. I think what we'll do is we'll take the elk fur with us. So I'm going to go in and change this a little bit. Let's see. We'll just say drying meat. Yeah. Want to make sure to leave, detailed notes and accurate notes. So very good, because we're going to take that fur with us as we head closer and closer to the east. It performs well, but hard to chat with it because the voice function as well as. Oh, yeah, that could be kind of we are using that RP voice mod too, which I bet if it was on Discord, it wouldn't be an issue. But yeah, through the actual game itself with Steam Deck might be something of a challenge I can see. But well, you know how it is. There's always some kind of an issue, isn't there? Almost no lag. That's good. That's good. So let's go ahead and go to bed. I'm going to intentionally sleep here, not by accident. Good. And since we're in our little shelter, we didn't have to worry about a fire or anything. But now it's early evening, which again is not ideal for us. Let's have a bite to eat, as we are hungry. All right, all right. Seems like it functions good, but I don't know yet. I have to use. Oh, okay. Got to use it with some other folks. Well, before I started streaming, I think there were a couple people on the server. I don't remember exactly, but All right, let's see. What we're going to do is actually make some clothing. Yeah, with the fur that we currently have, we can make some mittens. Oh, nope, never mind. Yeah, see, so right here it says we need 3 feet of thin cordage, which we don't have. We have cordage, but it's not the thin stuff. It's not good. In fact, let's make something real quick. We'll see about this, Brute. I gotta pick them up. All right, we'll pick up spruce with these. All of them. Let's also grab the fur just to have that with us. Okay, good. Let's go back into crafting. Y for cordage, spruce with these. We're just going to whip these up. Why is it? I'm misreading something. Oh, this has already been turned into the cordage. Okay, duh. Never mind. We're good to go. All right. We might be able to. Actually, that's a good question, bro. Let's try to make cloth cord. This might work if we just make one strand of it from, we'll use the harsh squirrel fur and then a little bit of the winter elk fur. I'm not sure if this is going to work. We did get 15 feet of it. It's poor quality, but that's not the worst thing in the world. Hi, Hanny. Hanny, how's it going? All right, let's make clothes. We'll get those mittens again. Let's see. The fur. Cordage. Hey, good call, Matza. That did work, buddy. Yeah. Usually I'm so accustomed to just picking some up from the NPC villagers because usually they'll sell it by like the hundreds of feet. You can get a strand of like thin cordage within the hundreds of feet for real cheap. So I like making it myself, though, being self-reliant. That's what the game's really all about, you know? Hey, Matt's gifted some subs. Thanks, buddy. Wow, you gifted a lot, dude. Big shout out. Let's go, Matt's. Hell yeah, gifted 10 of them. Yeah, dude, that's awesome. Thank you, Matza. Since it's been September, really? Okay, awesome. Hell yeah, dude. You know what else I'm looking forward to? Hey, what's going on, Nitro? Welcome, welcome, my friend. At my parents' house, and their Wi-Fi is absolutely terrible, so we'll see if we can watch the stream. Okay, good luck, Hanny. And the video for today will be up on the channel after I go live, too. I'm going to post it tonight. But thanks again, Matza. You're the best, buddy. Let's see here. Okay, I'm getting dropped frames on the stream. How's it going? There's really not much to lag out here. Yeah, congrats to everybody who got a sub, too. Awesome. No more commercials, no more ads for you guys. Man, I just changed out my modem too, and it's still giving me the stuff. Still giving me the problems here. Okay, so we're chilly. Let's get back into our shelter, and let's put on those gloves that we just made. They did come out to be rough quality, but what are you going to do, you know? Okay, well, so we'll wear them. And yeah, all right, so we'll try and make another set of clothing. Let's see. I think we've got enough to whip together a shirt. Actually, let me see what we're wearing currently. So we got boots, trousers, a cloak. Yeah, we don't even actually have a proper shirt on right now. We've just got a cloak over our like naked torso. So let's go ahead and whip together, yeah, a nice fur shirt. This one's going to take quite a bit of the material, 7.2 pounds of fur. So not quite half, but pretty close. Oh, and 15 feet of thin cordage. So guess what? We need more. Okay, we got to go back. Gonna have to make more cordage now. See, this is kind of the problem with making our own, is that I'm literally using the fur, which I'm trying to use that to make the clothing, but we also have to use it to make cordage, so it's depleting our quantity of fur as we go. Now, wait a second. I am getting cold here. Let's start a little fire, because my character's starting to get cold. 1 and 3 and fire. Hey, what's going on, Smoke Monster? Welcome to the stream, my friend. Thanks for chatting with me today and dropping in. Hello, everybody. Doing some Unreal World here. And my frames are all over the place currently, so I hope there's no major disruptions to the stream right now. But welcome, everybody. Wow. already shown that you can hunt, so getting some more is just a matter of time. It's true. There's a lot of luck and randomness to it too, though, and that just comes down to the time of the year because it is winter. So a lot of the animals are going to be a lot less active and stuff, but we'll still try and maintain, and eventually we want to start to thrive. We might one day become the wealthiest people on this peninsula of Finland. That's where we're at, is Iron Age Finland, but it's entirely possible to become ultra wealthy. All right, let's see. How's the stream, everybody? Is quality okay right now? Hope everything's going good. Okay, let's see. We are going to... Did I just make the cordage or not? Yeah, I did. Good to be here. Yeah. Congratulations, Smoke Monster. All right. Go into clothing. We'll do the shirt. Winter elk fur. We'll first use that. Oh, what? Oh, I think it needs to be exact. Okay, not necessarily exact. Stream is great. Nice audio. Thanks, Croggles. Appreciate that, buddy. Had some issues with my modem on my most recent Vintage Story stream that kind of ruined it. And I just replaced the modem today, but still having some issues here. All right, so let's eat. Okay, very good. Eat again. Fill up. And let's see what time. It's lively just after midnight. Let's wear the things that we just made. So that shirt, we're going to put that on. Maybe we can whip together one more piece of clothing. See, we've got rough leather boots on. Boots are great for spring and summer, but for the winter time, ideally, we want like some fur clothing or fur footwear. So let's do that. We'll do fur footwear. Okay. Finland, then you need to prepare for a hard winter. You know it. 100%, Matt. So, of course, I don't have the... Yeah, we do. We got enough cordage. Okay. Yeah, the winter will be harsh. In fact, if we want to see... Right now, we're on day 6 of the 10th week before the midwinter point. So, theoretically, the midwinter point is going to be like the coldest time of the year, you know. Every day after the midwinter point, we're starting to get closer towards spring and the spring thaw and stuff like that. But this game is like surviving for a single year in this game is very difficult. It can be extremely difficult. Even, nothing to say about multiple years. So let's have a little drink. And we are a bit tired. It's early morning. Let's sleep. Okay, so our sleep schedule is still not perfect because it's noon and we just literally woke up. But I think today is a good day to go ahead and set off. We've got a bit more clothing on our character. I'm going to bring the cordage and the fur with me. Boots will... Oh, thank you. I forgot to take those off. Thank you, Hanny. Yeah, let's take that off and we'll wear the elk fur footwear. And I think I'll drop... Yeah, I don't need to carry the boots with me. Boom. Oh, we got a hype chest. I got to open this. We'll get a new emote here. Woo woo. Choo choo, everybody. Let's go. The hype train is active. Thanks to Matza. We've got a new emote in our repertoire. All right, so let's see. Yeah. I'm going to grab just a little bit of firewood. 3. We'll grab one of those. I'll leave the bones here. They're not really that much help. Good. Okay, let's hop out to the map. Let's add, we'll say slash. You know what? Maybe I should take the leather boots with me, actually, and we could possibly trade those for some of the cordage that I want to buy. Yeah. We'll take those with us, like I said, for a little trading. I can always drop them at another campsite if they are weighing me down too much, but we're not too bad. Our penalty overall is only -9, so that's right, choo-choo. Let's go ahead and jump on out. All right, we'll plan our little trek. Like I said, we're not too far from the Kukuya tribe, however you pronounce it. The Greys, we'll just call them the Greys. So let's start heading out. I need to zoom out. You got to get used to playing the game at like the most zoomed out you can be. Because you literally will like hinder your own visibility if you stay zoomed in for, like, especially when you're hunting or something. I always stress that to new players trying to learn to hunt. You got to get used to playing it fully zoomed out. All right, so now we're coming into a nice open area. Oh, look, there's a cave right there. Right there, there's a little cave. Let's go explore it. Or at least we'll just peek our head in. Because it is starting to get a little bit late. So we automatically enter the tile. All right, let's see. Where is it? Should be just up ahead. Caves can be dangerous. I've encountered bears and, in fact, other NPCs too, like other not players, but other hunters. Where the heck is it? Usually I would have found it already. Huh. Let's keep looking. Oh, there it is. I see part of it. It's kind of hard. Treacher's getting up. Nope, that's not it. Well, that's weird. Re-enter the map tile. Oh, there it is. I see. It's not where I normally expect them to be, but that's okay. You can't expect Mother Nature to adhere to our wishes and desires. All right, so here's the cave. No. I've got to make my way along these cliffs here. We don't want to do any climbing. Cliff climbing is a recipe for an injury, no doubt about it. Yeah, this is not going to be easy here. I can see the entrance, but it is kind of blocked off by a bunch of cliffs. Let's go back around this way. Go down. Okay. Not too bad, not too bad. There we go. Okay, so what we want to do, this would be the entrance right here. We can zoom in at this point. What we'd like to do is maybe set up a fire and then make a torch. Because I could enter the darkness, but it won't allow me to see what's in there necessarily. So let's drop the branches and the slender pine trunk. There we go. It's almost like CMAP. Never zoom all the way in as maps aren't accurate. Yeah. Easy to run ashore. Exactly. Exactly. It does sound similar. Let's have a little bite to eat real quick. All right. Now, actually, if I want to make a torch, I need a tree. I need to get some branches. On top of this mountain, there's like no trees up here. Okay, we got trees down below, though. Let's go grab. These look like all spruce trees, sadly. Okay, here's something. But I can find my way back to that silly cave. Okay, let's try and get some stuff from here. Oh, I should be in, stealth mode just for the practice. There's an ermine, or a little weasel-like creature, just to the north of us. Let's repeat that. What's going on, game player? How's surviving the harsh winter? So far, so good, but true winter hasn't quite set in yet. We're still, I guess you could consider like late fall. But winter is definitely approaching. Every hour, every day that passes. All right, we're going to pop back over here to our little cave. We'll probably spend a couple hours in here sleeping too, as long as it's, relatively safe. We'll just have to see what's what. Fire, okay. Well, that's weird why it asks me that. Actually, no, let's make a torch or two first. So I'm going to go to utility articles, torch. We'll just make 2. Are you kidding? We need tying equipment for that. I didn't even realize that. Yeah, some of the recipes have certainly changed. Oh, no, game player, sorry about that, my friend. I actually had to cancel yesterday's stream. All right, I think I used some of the cordage, or some of the stuff that was on the ground there. Yeah, drop that. Okay, now it's time for a fire. Please start. Good, good. Okay, so now we need to light a torch right there. All right, so we're holding a lit torch, and it will now dispel the darkness from inside the cave. Oh, well. No, yeah, exactly. It was no stream yesterday. Sorry about that. I actually tried to work on recording a new game. I spent about 2 hours recording a game called Shadows of Doubt. Shadows of Doubt, which is an incredibly fun game, but unfortunately it just was not usable footage. I kind of ruined the whole afternoon, but All right, we do need something to drink, but we can get that in the morning maybe. So let's see. We're going to lay down next to this fire and just have a little quick nap. Still trying to get our sleep cycle more in line with the actual day. So we just woke up. We're vigorous, but it is late at night. All right, we'll go back out to the main map. There wasn't anything to see in the cave. In fact, there's a little part of the cave we won't even be able to get access, which is weird. I've seen caves spawn like that before, but it's kind of unusual. All right, let's just come down off the mountain into the pine mire. We're going to stop here and grab something to drink. I don't have any containers yet, but so we're kind of stuck just stopping every time we want to take a drink. We have to stop, take our knife to the ice, break open the ice, and then we have to slurp it right out of the puddle. So it's not the most dignified way of drinking, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. We're about to enter the cultural boundaries of our new player here, but I think we should stop maybe at this point and let's build another shelter. I want to have several of these kind of dotting the way, the little trail that we're going to use back and forth. Yeah, it's going to be very important for our survival to have multiple shelters ready to go, stocked with firewood, hopefully too eventually stocked with food, although that can be a bit more difficult. Maybe some of them will be stocked with food. All right, let's grab those. Can we move? Yeah, we're good. Let's find a little water source. I always like to set up a base close to a water source just for the, obviously for drinking purposes. Here we go. But also because we want to use it for tanning hides and stuff. You basically need infinite water. At least you released one of the crucial tutorials about spear being beginner friendly. That's true. That's true. Yeah, I think I need to cover. Oh shit, we just fell in the damn water. All right, see, yeah, look at this. I walked over that ice, and it wasn't quite frozen. That's like I say, we see snow, but like I said, we're still not quite in the full flight of winter. So ice is still thin enough for me to break, and that was a very big mistake. We're just going to actually have to, I think, drop. Yeah, let's just drop what I just collected. Instead of making a shelter, now we need to make an emergency fire. Yeah, we're bitterly cold. Freezing to death is a very real possibility in this game. All right, let's get some more twigs. So we're warming up, though. We're doing better. We got this roaring fire next to us, so it won't be the end of the world here. I just got to be more careful and stuff. But yeah, and back to the Cataclysm tutorial. I think I need to cover a bit more carefully the terrain, the advantage of terrain movement costs and stuff. That is, commenter pointed out how just critical that really is. All right, we'll grab 3 of these. Take them down here. Okay, stop moving. Whoopsie, I mean to do that. And let's go ahead and make our shelter. There we go, right next to the fire. We got a little tree next to us so we can always chop down limbs if we need. All right, cool. Push those twigs in. Let me grab this extra firewood up here. And boom. All right, good to go. Oops, I didn't mean to do that again. I keep hitting the wrong buttons. Okay, we have nothing to eat. We're very hungry, but we're officially going to enter starvation mode here again. Let's have a little drink. But that's okay. We're a bit tired. It's morning. I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and hop back out to the world map. Whoops, I hit it twice that time. Instead of, let's backtrack a little bit and see if maybe we can encounter an animal to hunt real quick. It would be great if we could get some more meat. It's not going to be essential. Oh, look at that. Some of the snow thawed. Yeah, it's actually getting warmer. Temperature in this game, it's variable. It's not necessarily set in stone. Let's see. Hey, what's going on, old Greg? Welcome, my friend. Thanks for joining. We are playing some Unreal World today, buddy. Appreciate you dropping by. Okay, so we're extremely tired. I think it's best to just retreat. We are definitely going to be going to sleep on an empty stomach here, but sometimes you can't really do anything about that. And of course, since we are starting to starve, the character wakes up every couple hours. You have to they won't have a full night's rest unless they have a full belly. So you have to like force them to go to bed over and over again when you're starving. It's a bit annoying, but hey, it's just the consequence of starvation, you know. That's why we want to hopefully encounter an animal. All right, let me think here. What's going on, Nick? How you doing, my friend? Thanks for dropping by the stream, buddy. Okay, we got a couple branches on us. Let's pick up another couple pieces of wood for a fire just in case. All right, I'll grab one of them and we'll move the rest into our nice little shelter. Okay, and let's go to the map. Whoops, wrong button. I'm going to add a green marker. There it is. We'll say camp, what is this, like camp 5? I don't even remember now. Can't recall. But planning on making an advanced base because of Miko Tower in the outskirts. That's a good idea. Yeah, congratulations, Nick, for getting one of Matt's subscriptions. Yeah, buddy. That's awesome. Congrats to everybody. No more ads for you, at least for the next 30 days, right? You've been waiting for this, Nick? Awesome, buddy. Awesome. Yeah. Let's see. It's been too long since I played the Unreal World on my channel, for sure, for sure. So it is good to get back into the swing of things. All right, let's dive into the cultural boundaries of the Kukoya tribe. And what is this? We got some hills here. It is very dark. We're venturing out at a late hour of the night, so it's not ideal travel time, but maybe we can lay down and sleep. No, there's too much rain right now. We're desperately hungry. Yep. Okay, I think it stopped. Let's try and sleep a little bit. It's not necessarily advisable to do that, but the temperature did warm up a little bit, so it's not the end of the world. I keep hitting the wrong map button. There we go. All right, let's head south. I can tell you once the sun does come up, though, all these mountains up here, yeah, they're going to make it pretty easy. Okay. All right, what's going on, Goizaka? Welcome, my friend. Thanks for dropping in the stream, buddy. Hello to everybody. Thank you for joining me today. Just getting started. We're only 30 minutes in. Hope everything's going good. All right, so let's see. Oh, so we just discovered a village. Yeah, pause the game. And if we look at the map, no problem, gifting the subs helps HG grow to some extent. Oh, it very much does, buddy, very much. And I really appreciate it, Matza. By the way, the dwarves have become titans of industry. That's good, Nitro. I assume you mean on the server, but just in general, dwarves are always titans of industry, too. What's tribe? Not sure what you mean there, buddy. Let's see. So we did just discover a village. That's the little square there. And of course, being inside this cultural boundary, we know that they're going to be chill. They won't attack us or anything. There's only one culture in this game that is automatically hostile on sight. Now, if I were to attack these people and start butchering them, which you can do if you want to go the evil route, they will become hostile, obviously. All right, let's chat with this gentleman. One thing I always like to do is see this command for buy an animal. I always like to see if the village sells animals first. Oh, and by the way, this portrait right here, this is Sami, the developer of the game right here. All right, so let's... Nope, they don't have any animals to sell here. That's okay. It's typical. Not all villages are wealthy enough to have like cattle and reindeer dogs and stuff. Are there abandoned cities or tribes in this game? No, but there are villages and tribes with varying population levels. Sometimes you'll come across like a little cabin out in the woods that'll just have like two people, like a grandfather and a son living there, or whatever, you know. And then sometimes you come across villages that are like walled with fortifications, and they'll have like a dozen or more people in them. Have you announced the stream? Wait, have you announced the stream at your Unreal World? Oh, no, I didn't link it in the Unreal World Discord today. I didn't want to spam it too much, but feel free to right now if you want, my friend. Share the link for the Twitch channel there. I've already closed out my I always close Discord when I'm streaming, but all right, let's look around here. I am interested in trading with these people, but it doesn't look like this village is very wealthy. They've got... Here we go. Here we go. Okay, they do have a couple of tents down here. We'll go ahead and zoom in for now. It's not super important that... Okay, there's some nettle yarn right there. See, 150 feet. That's what we want. That's what we want. That will help us make so much more clothing. Oh, they got skis here. I'm kind of tempted to go for these skis. Arrows, that's good. If they have arrows, that means they have a bow somewhere. Yeah, fine spruce quick bow. It's not the best type of bow. You know, there's definitely better in this game. Can you move out of the way, lady? All right, let's see. Can you make your own village? That's a good question. You can build as big or as many like structures as you want, but no, you cannot recruit NPCs to join you there. You can hire NPCs to help you build it. Like they will cut down logs, but they will not stay permanently, unfortunately. That would be really cool. There was a point in the time where I tried to recruit like every female in the villages that I came across. Like would constantly, you can't even get a female to join you for like a temporary journey. They just don't trust you. It's hilarious. Like when the devs leave a little Easter eggs. Yeah, I assume like most of the portraits in the vanilla game are people that he knows. You know what I'm saying? Sammy's a very resourceful guy. And I know that a lot of the like primitive technologies that are in the game that you can craft and use, like he actually tests them himself. Like he learns about them from historical books and, you know, archaeology studies, and then he'll build them himself and then he'll implement them in the game and stuff. I mentioned in the first stream, this game is very much centered around in like is a tribute to being for all the indigenous peoples across the world. So he's very much into that like primitive survival lifestyle, but he also codes too. So that's funny. But all right, I think we've seen most of what this village has. Tried to create a harem. Listen, I was getting lonely out there in the middle of the woods, you know? You can only have so much companionship from your hounds. Let's see, did you steal some items secretly? No, I didn't pick anything up. Oh, wait, I did pick up a ski pole by accident. Whoopsie, yeah, I don't want that. Thanks for pointing that out. I'm still getting used to the commands. It's been so long since I played. In a lot of ways, it is kind of like riding a bike. You know, when you play a game long enough, you do get that muscle memory for the commands, but I do misclick quite a bit. Okay, good. So you just saved me from enraging this whole village here by trying to steal from them, which you can do, but it's very tricky because some of these people are going to be pretty fast. Yeah, no budget for models, so just friends and family. That's right. That's the way to do it, you know? All right, we're going to go ahead and leave this village. Like I say, they've got a few things we want. Actually, you know what? I have a better idea. Yeah, okay, here's what we'll do. We'll come curl up next to their fire. Let's see if we can whip up, like, just a crappy piece of clothing. I've got a little bit... Let's see, the hood. Okay, yeah, the hood doesn't take any cordage. I've got 9 pounds of fur left. Let's make a hood. I'm already wearing a hood, so this isn't bad. What I want to do is maybe trade that crappy hood that we just made for this bundle of cordage that they have. Where is it? Where? No, I think it was at the door. There it is. Yeah, this nettle yarn. That will serve me well. All right, let's chat with this lady. Hello. We're just going to do a quick trade. Hopefully she'll accept this. I don't know. There it is, the fur hood. What do you say? Yes. All right, it's a deal. I probably could have gotten a couple cuts of meat, too, for that fur hood as well, but this nettle yarn is going to help us tremendously, for sure, for sure. Yeah, Nick, I am carrying the trunk. That's just for fire, starting a fire. If we see an animal or something, I will drop that before we go into, like, a hunting phase. But, yeah, just because we're getting close to winter and our gear isn't perfect yet. As you can see, I'm not wearing, like, a whole bunch of clothing quite yet. So I just want to be prepared if we get really, really cold or something while we're out and about. So, but I will keep that in mind if I need to drop that, because Nick points out a good note there for anybody who is new. This penalty rate here is going to affect your speed, your not so much your speed actually, just how long you can run, and so the more you're carrying is not good. If we start hunting, I want to drop off as much weight as I can manage. So carrying around like a big old tree trunk isn't smart. All right, so we've discovered one town. Let's go north a little bit. As I remember during the world generation phase, there was some more clear land kind of up north here. Oh man, what is the deal here? It's morning, but we have like no visibility. All right, this is good. We got some open land. I love it. I love it. Oh yeah, this is nice. We got another settlement just came into view. Okay, it's over there to the east. We're not going to bypass there just yet. I might eventually sell my boots for some food or something. I don't know. I'd rather come across our own animal, though. Let's see. Is this a good spot maybe to, yeah, to build a shelter? I like it. They won't, oh, I think I already did make gloves there, buddy. Let's see. I've got the mittens. Yeah, I've got the fur mittens. But you're right. I do need to kind of hunker down and maybe use up the rest of this fur. Makes maybe some leggings too, because we do have linen trousers, but those aren't going to be good in the deep winter. You know what I'm saying? But first, let's set up a little camp. I like this area. This could be a good hunting spot. And the culture won't mind if I build like a little camp here. They're not going to like come over here and yell at me or anything. So that's not an issue. All right, we'll grab some of that. We'll grab some of this. Whoops. Ah, see, I'm misclicking. Misclicking. You need to play this. It's a fun roguelike. I mean, it's got more to it than you might imagine. Like just on surface look, it is very primitive. You know, it's developed all the way back in the early 90s, but you know, it's been under constant development since that time. There's a whole spiritual element to the game. And let's see. How much do we have at our feet? Let's grab a couple of those. And the game is actually free. You can, excuse me, you can download it from his website for free. But of course, it's on Steam for $12 or so. I can't remember the actual price of it anymore. But you know, purchasing it on Steam is just supporting the author, the developer. And Sammy's a good guy. He definitely deserves support. All right, let's see here. Good. We'll drop off that stuff. You could use some javelins. Yeah, I'm up in the air about javelins. Excuse me, but do you know thief mode exists in Cataclysm? No, but we're playing Unreal World right now. So, Nick, I'm up in the air about the javelins. I really, really am. Sometimes I've used them, but I don't know. I would rather just hunt an animal on foot with no ranged weapons, to be quite honest. I do have better luck with that. All right, so let's see here. Yeah, let's see if we can go ahead and set up a little shelter. Wait. There we go. All right, we're tired, so we're definitely going to have to sleep at this location. Taking us a couple hours to get this done. Let's see. Snowing ceases. Knife is very unhandy. Starting to snow. That one seemed like it took a bit longer than normal, but maybe I was just imagining things. All right. Push all that stuff in. We can zoom in since we're about to curl up here for the night. We're extremely tired, so I think we should probably start a small fire. And we'll do 1, 3. Oh, we just passed out. I was trying to build the fire and I just fell asleep. I was so tired. All right, now we can sleep. The spear was my best skill. Now the bow is my best skill. Spear's right up there, though. Right up there. I should actually purchase it on Steam. Always played the free version, but it would be nice to have it. Yeah, there's no official mod support on Steam, but there are mods for it, too. If you want to auto or manually install them, I should say. All right, we're still tired. Let's go back to sleep. And physical performance. Yeah, we're starting to enter starvation here. You can see this starvation bar fills up. That means we're dead. But it'll take several weeks in game for that to happen. I've never actually had a character die of starvation. Maybe all the way back in the beginning, but probably not. Most of the time when you're first starting this game, you will die a lot, but it's not because of starvation. It's from other stuff. All right, let's jump out. I should leave the marker here. We'll say green camp. I guess we're on 6 now. Yeah, this will be a good one. In fact, I'm tempted to kind of stick around this area for a little bit. Sometimes it's not a bad idea to kind of circle the same hunting grounds 3 or 4 days in a row, especially an area this large. I could kind of sweep this area, return to our little camp, sleep, and then wake up in the morning and do it again, hopefully until we flush out some big game or something. Oh, yeah, you're a lifetime supporter in UnReal World. That's awesome. Okay, gotta be careful. Just watching my warmth levels. Obviously, we don't have any food to eat. Oh, okay, here's that other village. Let's pop in there real quick. I want to see maybe I can trade him these leather boots for some food. I'm not worried about the leather boots because we'll be able to make some more of our own. Or eventually we'll be able to trade for some ourselves. Wow, they have an actual structure here instead of just tents. I don't see their... Okay, here we go. I've always played a vanilla. I actually have a disc copy of UnReal World. Nice to back up on. That's awesome. Windows XP. Yeah, the mods are there's a bunch, but there's one like mod collection essentially. I think it's called the BAC mod. Yeah, I got to be careful about picking this stuff up. All right, so I'll just look as we walk over it. I'm looking for just some food here. So maybe I could trade him the short bow. I don't think I could get a short bow and some arrows from him for just the leather boots that I have, though. That's not really a viable trade. Ah, here we go. Here's food. All right, they got some roasted cuts. Dried salmon. All right, I'm going to grab the dried salmon because that's a good quantity of food right there. We'll talk to this joker. Let's first ask them if they sell animals. They do not. The BAC mod. That's it, Nick. Yep. I've got several playthroughs on YouTube, older playthroughs, obviously, where I did use the mods, and they're pretty fun. They had a whole bunch of new crafting recipes. They add a lot of new food recipes, too, which is awesome. I really enjoy that. Easier to install from the disk. I believe it. All right, so let's chat with this dude again and trade. I'd like to pay my debt. 7 salmon. I am convinced that we're not going to be able to afford 7 of these, but what I am going to do is just maybe barter with them a little bit. So we'll do... Does it want the torch, maybe? No, it doesn't want the torch. All right, needs to be tripled. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll offer a couple of the salmon back. Let's do that. Needs to be doubled. Shoot, let's offer 3 back. There we go. So we got 2 salmon for our leather boots. That's not bad. We'll have a bite to eat. Oh, yeah. Nice. All right. So, it'll help us get out of starvation and prevent us from going back into that starvation for a couple of days. But salmon's not going to last forever. Certainly. That's how I played Counter-Strike and Warcraft 3. Oh, heck yeah. Oh, recovered a bit from starvation. What else we got? Okay, I'm starting to lose the light. Let's see, where's my shelter exactly? Okay, it's just to the west of us. Let's move towards it. There it is. We're going to hop in our shelter because we're weary. It's late afternoon. We definitely need to take a drink here, so let's break the ice, have a drink. Crawl back into the shelter, and we'll eat. Yeah, we get several meals, like 3 different meals from each one of these salmon, which is pretty good. Are there other ways to locate animals besides hoping chance upon them, searching the trails and such? You can trap animals. There's definitely an entire trapping system, which is totally viable. You can even set up things like trap fences, so you can fence off certain parts of the landscape and then dot that fence line with like traps so that you force the animals to funnel through into the traps themselves. Very effective way of hunting, passive hunting, I should say. But there isn't, to my knowledge, much of a way to like scare up animals. There may be some spells and stuff that you could use because some of these like passive skills, it's more just like I would even call it a spell. Some of these are more just like lore, you know what I'm saying? Like how to lure an animal into your traps more effectively and things like that. But the means you go about them are kind of spell like, I guess you could say. It's hard to describe. Yeah, it's a very much a low magic system. Sounds like what? All right, let's zoom out. Small hours. Like I said, we're here in a really nice open area that I'd like to continue to hunt. Maybe we can head a bit to the west too. Okay, recovering from starvation. Now, don't forget, in the first stream too, we actually did have a successful hunt. That's where I got this elk fur from, obviously. So there is meat being prepared. It just takes several weeks for it to finish, to fully dry out. So, if all else fails, we do at least have a little backup, a little insurance policy. Yeah, drinking in this game is kind of weird. There's like, even though you're by the ocean, there is no salt water and there's no boiling. The Unreal world almost, you can think of it, takes place in like an alternate dreamlike world in a sense where most of the world is the same as ours, our Earth, but then there are certain things about it which are very unnatural, unreal, you might say. You know, like I said, the spiritual elements, and I guess you could consider the water a part of that too. Every bit of water is drinkable, totally fine and safe. Now, we ventured pretty far from our little shelter there, but it's still late morning. We're not doing too bad. We have enough clothing now that the current levels of temperature aren't that threatening, but eventually the temperature will dip even farther. And I think what we're wearing, yeah, won't be enough, so we definitely want to kill some more animals. All right, we ventured pretty far from our little shelter. Let's kind of backtrack. I'm going to zoom in and get a drink here. Got to break the ice. Okay, have some of our salmon and jump back out. So we're getting tired. Let's see, where are we exactly? We might have to sleep in this cave. I don't know if I can make it all the way back to my shelter. Let's just go to the cave real quick. I guess the salmon you get from the ocean are freshwater kind. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Well, realism always has limits. That's true. I realize that dehydrated fruit has all the vitamin C, which is not very realistic. All right, so let's move up. Try and find this cave. Still have that torch on me. Do I still have the wood? No, I dropped the wood off. That's okay. No. Let's grab some branches before we go up to the cave so I can start a fire up there. Oops. There is salt in the game, yeah. And it's mainly used for preserving meat, though. All right. There are, like, seeds and fruits, though, and stuff, which I think can go in some recipes. Honestly, the cooking in vanilla Unreal World is pretty basic, but it's more about functionality. But like I said, the mods that you can install for the game do add a whole lot of different, really fun cooking options. I'm trying to avoid climbing at all costs. I do not climb in this game. In fact, when I created this character, one of the skills that we nerfed completely was climbing and swimming. So you won't see my guy do any climbing or swimming. All right, let's zoom in. We're coming up to the mouth of the cave. Let's go ahead and drop the spruce twigs. We'll make a quick little fire. Very, very little. Yes. And we'll light up a torch. Okay. Let's venture deeper into the cave, see what this thing holds. Uh-oh. I don't know if I can get down here. Okay, yeah, we can. Okay. Luckily, there was no bears. There's no NPCs, hostile or otherwise. All right, so you get it from trading with villages that are, well, with cultures that are wealthier. Salt is usually, hold on, I'll show you here. Let's put out our torch. If we look at the map, zoom all the way out, and turn back on the culture, if I go down to this particular culture right here, this teal color, the Drick with the two eyes, this is the richest culture in the game. There are others which are close, like they'll have, but if you want armor, or if you want salt, or if you want like masterwork quality weapons just laying around, this is the culture to go to. When I used to play long periods of time, I would make like a winter trading trip, and that would be the culture that was always my destination because they have the best stuff. All right, let's go ahead and sleep in the cave. It's pretty safe in here. Still have a bit of salmon left. This is our last salmon. What? Can't I move? Oh, there we go. Nope. Okay. Out. Now we can zoom out. So we might start to just kind of wheel around. Because this is the side, I think, that has the food. Yeah, that's where the drying meat is at. I like this area up here, though. It's very flat. Wait, did we build a shelter up here yet? Let's build a shelter up in this vicinity. I like this open flat land. It's not the largest I've seen, but... Oh, we found a hare. I'm not worried about small game like that. Squirrel. Yeah, I'll encounter... No, never mind. I just said I don't want small games, so I won't worry about squirrels and rabbits. Not that important for me. All right, let's hunker down like right here. We'll make a quick shelter. Let's see, what time of day is it? Late morning. Didn't really zoom into a great spot here. There's a big old pine tree right here. Okay, this is good. Get a few branches. Let's grab those. Let's come on down here. We need spruce branches specifically for the shelter that we're going to craft. So we'll grab a couple of these. There's a bird. Starting to get a little thirsty. So I think we'll make our shelter just up here. Drink, drink, drink. Get some water. All right, let's cut down this small tree. How many do we get? 5. So I'm going to pick up 2, and then I'm going to move the rest of them right there. All right, stop moving. Let's zoom in just a little bit, and let's build a quick shelter. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. A couple of hours. Actually, we're going to have to rest. Yeah, we'll have to sleep here, but that's okay. I really feel like laying down a lot of these shelters is really, really important for our long-term survival. Because, you know, I want to get as much hunting as we can, but we just might not get lucky enough. You know, we might get to a point where we don't see an animal for weeks and weeks at a time. All right. There we go. So basically the current game plan was move around between shelters until you accumulate enough materials and food to hunker down and craft some stuff. Yeah, we'll be crafting as we go, for sure. As we get more kills, we can visit the culture, the nearby cultures, and trade with them more, because there are going to be certain things we cannot craft. Like, there is no metalworking in the game, unfortunately. Now, if you install the mods, there is metalworking, but as vanilla, I'm pretty sure, yeah, there's no... So if we want to get axes and real weapons, for instance, you got to go trade for it, pretty much. So trading is a big part, bartering and trading, but yeah, we're kind of just... Starting off, we really need to get some successful hunts going. Let's set another camp 7. There we go. But yeah, just bouncing from camp to camp. If we were in the height of summer, like the warmest time of the year, I wouldn't really worry so much about building all these camps. But because of winter and the really, really deadly temperatures that it can drop to, we need to have fallback positions where, if we start to freeze to death, we can just, boom, immediately jump in, start a fire. Maybe even, like I said, stash some food at some of these places. All right, just looking. Let's see where we're at. Oh, that's right. We can order stuff from Smith's now, too. I should have probably put an order in with the Smiths while we were over there. Yeah, there are blacksmiths in the village now, too, that will craft stuff for us. And each one has like a level of quality. Like if we get lucky, we might be neighbors with like a masterwork blacksmith, and we can order stuff from them. Maybe next time we head over there, we'll have to put it in order. I think that's a good idea. Hey, look, here's some of the firewood I dropped previously. Yeah, we're getting pretty close to some of our original spawning locations. Let's grab all this stuff. Let's see, can I pick it all up, or... There it is. Hey, what's going on, Payne? How you doing? Happy Saturday to you, my friend. Thanks for dropping in. So the job available? No, that's about it, I think, in terms of jobs. Let's see here. There's our shelter. Is this the one with the food? No. It's okay. Keep looking around. This is close to where we saw that previous elk, though. Hold on, let me look. We're going to go to the south a little bit farther. Let's eat. First, the masterwork broad knife. That's a smart idea. Yeah, that's probably something we could afford, too, at this early stage, is like a knife. I don't know about masterwork quality. We'll try, but yeah. We'll have to kind of limit my first order to something kind of smallish, because you have to wait a couple weeks for him to craft it, but I don't know. Hopefully by then we'll have another kill or two under our belt, and we can afford to pay him. All right, so we made it back to our shelter, and I just entered the wrong square. There we go. So this is the shelter that has the food. It's drying elk cuts, not ready for another 17 days at the latest, 16 at the earliest. So, just goes to show we got more than 2 weeks still before we have that free food there. All right, let's take a drink. And a little bit of dried salmon. We're going to save that for the morning. Let's just go ahead and go to bed. Excellent. Let me drop a couple things that I am carrying that I don't need. These 8 rocks, I don't need those. I'll keep the firewood. I think I'll drop the 4 pounds of cordage. We'll keep that torch for now. And I'll drop the fur here. Actually, let's go ahead and make some clothing now that we're here. We do have a little bit of salmon. Let's see, clothing. Let's do the fur leggings, please. Oops, I just dropped it. This is going to mostly wipe out the fur that we've got. Greg says this game can be horrifying when you don't pay attention and get cold. Too far from base, so I was getting confused while trying to get tinder and sticks and then passing out while trying to start a fire. Yeah, when you get down really super cold, like freezing to death, it can spiral out of control for sure. All right, so let's go ahead and I forgot what I was doing. Okay, we're going to make some clothing. Some fur leggings. Yep. There it is. 9 feet. Probably going to be poor quality, but we're working on it. We're getting our skills up. Skills do improve the more you use them. Let's have a little drink. And we'll eat. And we'll put on our brand new rough elk fur leggings. Wonderful. And I think, yeah, there's a very small scrap of winter elk fur left. We'll just drop that. I'm going to keep the twine on me because it is helpful to have that in case we get another kill. Maybe we're halfway across the map. I don't have to travel all the way back here just to make some clothing. The traps we set haven't struck at all. Not a big deal. Winter's a tough time of the year. All right, let's keep moving. We're chilly, though. Yeah, you can see now the thermometer, the temperature has dropped quite a bit. In fact, we're probably going to see some more snow on the ground. Now, this is interesting. There's a person right here. We don't know if this person is hostile or what. They could just be an adventurer out hunting just like we are. And we could even possibly recruit them, or trade with them. But then again, like I said, it could be a group of bandits looking to rob people. So I'm going to avoid contact with any humans for now. I like to get a couple of dogs, eventually trade for some hounds, keep those with me as I'm traveling, and I just feel so much more secure when I've got dogs with me. It's not a guarantee that you can survive an encounter with the bandits just by having a couple of canines, but it helps. Also, the same is true with bears. Like, I don't tangle with bears unless I've got like at least 3 dogs with me. And I never tangle with wolves, no matter what. I've been killed too many times by wolves in just like a one shot. Wolves will go straight for your jugular. And if they get you, it's over. Your game's just over in an instant. And it's happened many times. Wolves are very dangerous in this game. All right, let's see. We're out of food. We're getting a bit tired. Another day is almost come and gone. So let's head up to our shelter. Oh, speak of the devil. There's a wolf pack right there. Ooh, that's scary. That's kind of scary. And they are real close to our shelter, too. Dang. If I had a bit of food with me right now, I would say that we should build some traps for that. But can't really spend a whole bunch of time making traps right now because I'm starving, or we will be. Even the Nerpez have dogs now. Really, that's awesome. Yeah, I know that you can encounter traders and stuff that will occasionally have like a canine with them. All right, it's midnight. I really don't want to venture out when there's wolves about at midnight, so we're just going to pass some time cutting branches off this tree. How can you even avoid them? I remember my long times when wolves would absolutely everywhere. Oh god, Long Dark. Yeah, well, the wolves in Long Dark are pretty brutal too. I love that game though. Alright, shift MT. So right now I'm just waiting for the sun to rise or for my vigor level to get down to a spot where I can actually sleep again, because we're just trying to pass time till we have better light visibility. So I'm just repeating this command. It's not helping with my hunger rate, but there's not much I can do. Like I said, the wolves are way too close for us to just go stumbling around in the dark right now. All right, there we go. So we can sleep. That should pass enough time for light to come up for the most part. Let's see. Wolves generally won't attack unless you attack them. What's up, Edvard? How's it going, buddy? That's true. They won't typically come at you unless you get too close. And they're still right there. I saw them there for a second. Oh, another squirrel. Don't care about squirrels. Let's see. I don't have any Long Dark streams on YouTube, Consolus, but I do have several Let's Play series. So several edited and recorded Let's Plays for the Long Dark on my YouTube channel. I think the last one I did was maybe over a year ago. I really love the Long Dark. I love playing it, but I'm not that great at it. Like I'm not like Zachnifine, or you guys know Zachnifine from YouTube. Really expert player at it. He even does like beta testing for the developers and stuff, but I'm not that good at it. Oh yeah, I've got Terraria is one of the first games I ever featured on my channel. Not the first, but it was probably like the 3rd or 4th channel that I ever recorded for. Yeah, and I've been watching for like the latest update for Terraria. I don't know, what is it, 1.4 or something like that? I can't remember what the number they're on, but I was planning on picking it back up and playing some Terraria again once a new update comes out for it. Also, speaking of Terraria, anybody out there familiar with the game called Necess? Necess? It's very similar in a lot of ways to Terraria, and I've got some videos for that on my channel too. But they're actually getting ready to release into full 1.0 soon. I don't know when, but I saw the announcement on Steam. My little shelter's close, but I can't find it. Maybe we can just sleep here. Hold on, let me get zoomed in a little bit. Sometimes you gotta kind of feel your way around. All right, I think the shelter's like right there. Okay. Old Greg says, what? Oh, I missed it. Kept distance from wolves when I saw them. Is there an intimidation mechanic, like wave a torch? No, I don't think so. You can frighten wolves, but wolves have a tendency, they're kind of like hit and run enemies. They'll like hit you and then they'll kind of run away. You can spook them a little bit, but sometimes they'll turn back around and get aggressive again. You know what I'm saying? Pigs are like that too. You can kind of scare pigs in this game, but sometimes they'll turn back around and get aggressive for you. Slash, what's up, buddy? Subscribed. Tier 1. Thank you, my friend. Consola said, I played Necess for a while, but honestly got bored fairly quickly. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how far back you played, but it was obviously an early access. So hopefully the 1.0 update will add some in-game stuff to it. I enjoy it, but Terraria is, I would say, probably a bit more of a superior game, but it's just because it's been out for so long, you know. Terraria still brings in, like, I don't know, I haven't looked recently, but I want to probably say upwards of over 20,000 concurrent players on Steam daily. If I wouldn't be surprised if it was way more than that, too. But yeah, that's one of those games, man. Still has a massive following. All right, let's sleep again. The light levels. That's another bad thing about winter. Other than the temperature, the lack of game animals, it's the freaking light levels, man. It makes it so hard to do any serious hunting. So I just can't see. Let's see. Henny was a big Terraria player. Have not played in a while. Yeah, I'd love to get another game going. That'd be a fun one to do some multiplayer with too, Henny, for sure. As I remember, back in the old days, it was super easy to set up like a multiplayer world, you know, as long as everybody's like friends on Steam and stuff. Yeah, that would be amazingly fun, I think. I have played some multiplayer Terraria in the past, you know, before I had actually I did it on YouTube too. I had a buddy and I would play Terraria on YouTube. It's a lot of fun. Speaking of starving, I'm going to get some oatmeal and coffee. The daily Edvard breakfast. I'm with you, buddy. Go get it. Yeah, multiplayer in Terraria is epic. Super fun. Really well balanced. Like it scales nicely and stuff. And they've obviously, like I said, the game's been out now for over a decade, so they really have like tailored it for multiplayer too, in addition to a single player experience. It works really well in multiplayer. Everybody gets their own loot bags. There's no like fighting over loot and stuff. Was me and your friend's favorites? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll definitely do that, buddy. Glad you mentioned it, because I have no idea how much longer it's going to take before like a new update comes out. But whenever it does, we'll get back into it for sure. All right, let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Take a drink. Yeah, that's one of those games that it's easy to get bored once you've beaten it and gotten all the way through the Moon Lord, but the journey to get to that point is pretty long, especially if you're a new player. Then it's a freaking classic game. It's such a great experience for new players to get into. Talking about Terraria still. All right, let's continue to sleep. We're not having lots of luck with the hunt, but don't worry. Once it happens, it'll happen, you know. Once we spot that elk, oh, it's going to be on for sure. All right, so I got to do more tree cutting here. Oh, we can sleep again. Small hours. All right. That's probably as good as it's going to get. Let's jump out. Terraria is mostly completed. Don't think many updates will come out in the future. That's true. There is one that's in the works, but you're right. It's not like the older updates where they used to kind of like be in a very regular cycle. Like this is just like I think they already completed the game. You're right. Like it's officially done, and the developers were like, "We're not doing any more updates," but then they just constantly keep coming out with more updates. So yeah, it's not like there's any rush or anything. I think for them, they can sit back and consider their game a success for sure. But I think they just have such a passion for developing Terraria that they just never give up on it, you know? It's funny, too, because they were even, like, in the works for, like, a sequel to Terraria, and then that got changed around. to something else. And then I think they just eventually abandoned that idea altogether. I'm not sure, though. I shouldn't speak out of turn because I don't know what their current development plans are for stuff. All right, let's get some water here. I'm enjoying Pal World, close as I've got to Terraria. Pal World's, I've watched it played. I've not played it myself, but I have watched it. Like when it gained immense popularity at first, I watched a couple YouTubers and streamers play it. All right, let's see here. We're tired again. I'm going to head back over to the southern shelter. Here we go. In a way, this is why the Unreal World is almost a game that's better suited for like an edited series. You know, when I was doing my edited Let's Play series for this game, this is the kind of thing I would cut out. You know, these long days where it's nothing but traveling on the overmap and stuff. But if you ever did watch those old series, this happens. You know, this is something, you know, like I said, I would normally spare the viewer, but it happens all the time where you just got to kill time. And you know what's interesting, and I think one of the reasons I like this, and I don't find it boring, is because that's true with real survival as well. You know, if you're out in the wilderness, maybe you're stuck, or maybe you're just enjoying yourself in like a primitive camping experience, you know, there is a lot of boredom that comes with it. You got to keep yourself active, have things to do, things to work on. Let's see. Because nothing ever goes to plan. When you're out in the wilderness, you can think to yourself, oh, tomorrow's going to be great. We're going to go out and hunt and we're going to do this and that. And then maybe you wake up and there's a snowstorm and you can't see more than 2 feet in front of your face and all your plans are ruined and you just have to sit inside of your dark shelter for 8 hours doing nothing. All right, so let's see. It is late night. It's sad when I heard they were stopping development on the Terraria. Yeah. Then they decided to keep updating it anyway. I know, like I said, they're really passionate about it. You know, it's a game that's launched them into gaming history, you know. I remember when people used to accuse it of being like a Minecraft ripoff, and now I find that absolutely laughable. But yeah, you play more Pal World. There's so much of the map I haven't explored. Yeah, I should get into it. I really should. I could probably get some good views on some Pal World videos too. You can make loop snares now that you have yarn. That's true. That's true. Okay, we're still rocking and rolling here. Yeah, anybody familiar with Shadows of Doubt? It's a very unique, like, detective game set in, like, an open world sandbox. I tried to record some of it yesterday, but I actually ran into some technical difficulties with getting OBS to record it properly without, like, absolute just terrible video quality. I don't think the game is optimized very well, or at least my system doesn't run it or something. It's too bad too, because I really enjoy that game, but just couldn't get it to work. I've been waiting to play Shadows of Doubt for a while. Yes, I recommend it highly. If you haven't played it but you're aware of it, pick it up and play it because it's so much fun. I just can't get it. Maybe after I update my system at some point. I was reading about it too, and apparently it doesn't rely as much on GPU as it does CPU because it's like simulating. Because each NPC in the city is potential of being like the criminal that you're looking for. So they all have like a complete like data set. They have birth certificate and fingerprints that are unique and stuff like that. So, and you can play in cities with like hundreds of NPCs. And those are the ones people you're like investigating and stuff. So it's really intensive, I think, on the CPU is what they were saying. All right, let's repeat that. There we go. Sorry. Greg needs coffee. Yeah, I turned your PC into a heater. Yes, dude. I was literally like, I was looking over. I had my headphones on while I was recording it, and I was hearing a humming noise. I was like, is somebody doing construction outside? And I took my headphones off, and it was my tower. My PC tower is next to me, like humming away. I was like, I've never heard it sound like that before. Couldn't even get 30 frames per second. All right. Yeah, it's unfortunate too because the game is amazing. So much fun. All right, I've got 700 branches here. I think we're good on branches. Let's hop out. We need to get some animals. All right, let me look at the map real quick. Yeah, so our food is over here. Nice benchmarking for my 12 core Ryzen. You could probably play it. Let's see. We'll move kind of off in this direction. Maybe we head back towards the grays, the gray culture, because we do have several more days before our meat is ready, so there's not really any reason to stick around here exactly. And that area over there by them was nice and big and open. Yeah, so we're just inside their territory. I'm thinking like right over here. This is the spot I like, right up along this area. There's a lot of this dark green. Am I a good detective? No, I'm a terrible detective. But that game is just so engrossing and like it's really immersive. Because you're in this city, there's NPCs everywhere. They'll go back and forth. They all have jobs, and then they have their apartment, and they're all like on little routines and stuff. It's very much like a living world, and the background for it is cool too, like the story. But I have to wait on that one for a while. In replace of that, I'm actually going to break out one of my old favorite games. I think. Dwarf Fortress. How many of you guys out there are fans of Dwarf Fortress? I actually played for a couple of hours this morning. I started a fortress, embarked with some dwarves, just trying to get used to the Steam version of it. I'm a Dwarf Fortress player from way back in the day before it was on Steam, and obviously it's controlled very differently than it is nowadays on Steam. So it's very much like kind of relearning it all over again. Uh-oh. We got a human dead ahead. We got to avoid him. You wanted, Nitro. I'm sure you would love Dwarf Fortress, buddy. Well, like I said, I'm kind of relearning it myself. And if I have time today, I was going to record an episode or two and post it up for the next. I'm definitely going to play it and post it in the next coming couple days. Edvard, are you a Dwarf Fortress player too? Man, Edvard, me and you have like these identical game likes, dude. Identical. All right, let's drink here. It does interest me, but you never dare to get into it. It's another one consoleless like Cataclysm that just has that extreme learning curve going on, but ultimately it is really, really rewarding. There's so much to it. And the developers are really great guys. The brothers, the Tarn brothers. Oh, I'm blanking on their name. Zach. I'm blanking on their name, but the developers are great guys. Two brothers, absolutely cool dudes, really intelligent guys. But yeah, they did it for decades completely free. Just working off like donations and stuff. You played some Dwarf Fortress 2. It's really great. Yeah, I'll get some videos up that on my channel coming soon for sure. All right, so we're vigorous. It's small hours again. What's at our feet right now? I wish there was some kind of crafting we could do to make things more exciting, but there really isn't. Just because we're so shy on resources right now, The best I can do is just continue to prepare firewood for these shelters. Todd and Zach. Thank you. Todd and Zach. Yep. Great guys. Love Dwarf Fortress. Haven't played in like 10 years. You bought the book way back. I'm not familiar with the book. Is that like a lore book? I'm interested now in the book for Dwarf Fortress. Yeah. Okay. I'll craft some javelins. That's not a bad idea. We'll do that. Let's knock down a couple trees. Nick's got a good suggestion. Might as well take him up on it. All right, let's move this. So we got some slender pine trunks we'll use to make staves. And then I believe, unless I'm forgetting the recipe altogether, from the staves, we make the javelins themselves, right? No, we're probably not going to be doing any fishing. My character's not... Is he good at fishing? Yeah, we're adequate at fishing. We could maybe, but... To be honest, fishing is, I don't enjoy it too much in this game. I'd rather be out there hunting. All you know about Dwarf Fortress you learn from RimWorld? Yeah, well, Tynan, the developer of RimWorld, has said, I think it even says it on their Steam page, that it's heavily inspired by Dwarf Fortress for sure. All right, so let's push a fire. Just do like, I guess, 40. Well, that's fine. 40. Okay, and we'll get that fire going. Come on. There we go. Need the fire too. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. All right, now we go to our lumber stabs. We'll just start with 2. As I remember, making the stabs takes a while. Oh, that's a bird. Yeah, it's going to take us all day to do this, but that's okay. Okay, so we definitely need to take another drink, but first we got to rest a bit. Okay, and no. Yes. Now we have to sleep, so we'll just go back to bed. Very good, very good. Continue to sleep. Sleep, sleep, sleep. All right, that's probably good enough for now. So, do we need another fire to make the javelins? I think we do. Use the rest of those. 3 of those. All right, let me look at my inventory. Yeah, we've got 2 poor spruce staves. All right, so let's get that fire sparked up. Nice roaring campfire. Nothing better. And boom, now we go to weapons. Javelin, 2 of them. Let's do it. Yeah, this is going to take a while too, isn't it? Most of the day. It's a 200 or 300 page tutorial book with tons of useful information. Basically the wiki on paper. Oh, nice. Very cool. Yeah, I can see how that would have been really, really vital piece of information in the early days. I learned a lot from Reddit. When I was playing Dwarf Fortress before it was released on Steam, obviously, I learned a lot from Reddit and watching some YouTubers. There's a really great YouTuber. I kind of modeled my YouTube channel off of him. His name is, oh crap, now I'm blanking on his name. Hold on, it'll come to me. Nookrim. Anybody out there know the YouTuber Nookrim? He does a lot of a lot of indie content, including like Dwarf Fortress a lot. He's a big Dwarf Fortress player, RimWorld player, all kinds of games. But yeah, I learned a lot from watching him play Dwarf Fortress. All right, did we actually get the javelins, or no? They didn't finish. What happened? What happened to the javelins? What did I do? You're carrying a 50-pound tree trunk. Yeah, that's just for fire starting when we're in the wild. Did I drop him in the fire? What the hell happened to him? I was talking and I didn't pay attention, and now they're gone. I paused it. How do we restart it? Does it not occur as an item? So if I just go back and restart, let's sleep a little bit more. Yeah, I think this is a newer mechanic, this pausing. See, I'm not used to that. Okay, just start the javelins again. Understood, will do. Weapon, javelin, there we go. Okay, it just picks right back up. Understood. Yeah, it used to not be like that. Like, you would just finish it. Task paused. Okay, it's paused again. We got to sleep more. Yeah, see, this is another reason why I don't really make javelins, because it's like a multi-day process, and they're very, very ineffective typically. And most likely, if I get into a real hunt, I'm going to lose them. You know, they're going to be left behind. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and finish them off. Oh, God, I need another fire. Just push all the branches over. Okay, weapon, javelin. There we go. Should have 2 poor quality javelins now. Crude quality, even worse than poor quality. All right, we'll see if we can do anything with those. Let's go ahead and wield one. And let's take out the knife. How do I wield? How do I remove the knife? Forgotten how to take the knife out of my hand. Maybe I'll just drop it. Okay, that's better. All right, so we're tired. We're sweating a lot. We've got our days all mixed up here. So we're waking up. That's okay. That's not the worst thing in the world. Let's go. Where are we at? Yep, we're in a good spot. If we can just see an elk. That's all I need is to just see one. Get my hopes up. Reassure me that there are animals in the world. I'm actually kind of surprised we haven't come across any reindeer. That's more of a surprise to me than the fact we haven't seen any more elk. Elk are fairly, I don't want to say rare, but in this part of the world, yeah, reindeer should be all over the place. Okay, we're making our way northward here, just looking. But we're going to hit up this shelter up here. Yeah, we're going to have to sleep at this shelter tonight. Oh, we're extremely tired. I don't know if I can make it. Oh, we're just barely going to get there. There it is. Dragging ourselves into the shelter, ready to drop. Look at that. I probably can't even get any water because I would pass out. All right, stand up, little lazy bum. Get you something to drink there, buddy. There we go. And back to bed. Yeah, we've been starving for a couple of days now, but the good news is we're at some point going to be able to go pick up that drying meat that we got from our first and only kill so far. So that will save our lives. But we definitely need more. You know, we cannot survive on that one kill alone, especially not going into the depths of winter. All right, there we go. Just getting a little bit of firewood here as we wait for the sun to rise. Thanks for dropping by the stream, everybody. Really appreciate you guys. We're going to be doing some Cataclysm tomorrow. Right back to the Cataclysm world. All right, let's get another drink. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, next week I'll be streaming again on Friday, too. I had to cancel Friday's stream, but we will be back to our normal scheduled streams. Oh, oh, oh. Hello, Mr. Elk. Do you guys see him? There he is. Ooh, come here. All right, let's go get him. Let's go get him. This is a good encounter right here. He's kind of out in the open. There's a little bit of trees to the north and south. But let's take a look at this big, beautiful boy. It's a female. Small one. That's okay. I don't care. Yeah, let's take a shot with our javelin. Missed it. All right, I'm going to try another. Missed it. All right, we spooked it, though, so I'm going to run. And stop running. I will grab the javelins as we go. So we've got our javelins back. Let's go ahead and wield one and put it in my hand. Following the tracks until I encounter the animal again. There we go. It looks a little bit fatigued, so we're off. We're off to the races. Now is the real test of our hunting abilities. All right, so we're chasing it. I don't have perfect visibility. Notice how the edge of the map, there's still darkness in these corners, so the sun is just barely above the horizon. So this isn't the most ideal situation for a hunt. Ideally, it would be like noon, and I would have the full map, but I'm confident we can probably still get this girl. All right, let's try. Should I go into hiding and try and sneak up? Nope, she saw me. All right, we're just going to sprint. She is going in a good direction, though. This is kind of back the way we were traveling, so she's not headed towards any forest or anything. Not immediately. Slightly fatigued still. Let me see if I can creep up on her a little bit. All right, she's running. I will try another toss of the javelin. Nope. All right, I'm going to avoid this water here. Kind of have to go a couple steps out of my way to get this javelin, but that's okay. Yeah, we got to try and avoid going over these ponds, too. All right, there she is. Looks slightly fatigued. Let's keep it up. Keep the pressure on. I'm going to sprint at her. Just come running right at her. Charge. Okay, hold on. Okay, let's keep going. I'm getting a little nervous now about this direction. Let me look at where we're at exactly. Yeah, we are going to be coming up to a deep forest here pretty soon. Shoot, I'm walking over this pond. Don't like that. Okay, she's coming back to the west, which I actually like. I'm glad she's doing that. Oh, yeah, I'm at negative 50%. Thank you. I'm assuming that the... Whoops. What the hell, dude? Oh, I hit the wrong button. I'm assuming that the snow is deep enough. Fist deep snow with a faint crust. Yeah, that I'm probably not getting any endurance back when I walk. Yeah, we are starving too, so that's causing me to have some penalty to my fatigue too. But good call. Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, we're losing endurance just walking. So the snow is deep enough that it causes me... Oh, crap. Okay, we're coming up to some trees here. She's fatigued, so we've got her part of the way, but see these hills? This indicates that there's a forest just over here. And she's running towards it. If she goes into those trees, this could be a nightmare. Okay, where's she at? There's her footprints. Looks like she might have turned. She's got a big old muddle of foot. There she is. Still fatigued. We need to get her down to breathless. That's our current goal. Yeah, I'm trying. Okay, she's turning back out to the east again. That's good for us. There she is. Yeah, she's kind of moved away from the trees now. All right, I got to take a shot at her. Let's throw. I didn't have that wielded in my hand, so I lost a step there. No. All right, let's wield the other one. Let's go pick that one up. All right, where'd she go? Oh, okay. Now we have multiple track sign going in different directions, which isn't great. This is going to make it more difficult. Leading southeast. I think this is the right set, though. And there's more trees coming up. Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? There she is. Very fatigued. Oof. We've almost got her. I'm tempted to start sprinting at her. It's going to be a freaking race, though. Okay, no, I can't. I really can't. We are just way too fatigued for that at the moment. Because remember, I still have to kill her. Once we get her breathless, we got to get into combat with her. And that takes endurance, obviously. Where'd her tracks go? Oh, they're there. Man, I just need to grab her. Where is she? How has she been out of our range for this long? Oh no, she might have recovered by this point. This isn't good. Having her out of range for this long. Am I following the wrong tracks? No. I mean, this is definitely her trail, but... Yeah, well, the longer that they stay out of your visual range, the more opportunity they have to rest. So and now she's coming to the trees again. Oh no. I think she went right into these trees. Yes, she did. Her tracks go right into the forest. Then it looks like they turned south. And then I lost them. Oh, here they are again. I mean, they're not the smartest, so it's possible that she could enter the forest and then run out again, you know. It's entirely possible. She doesn't realize that the trees are her safety. She's just moving randomly, but... So I'm constantly, whenever I flash the screen like that, I'm looking at her tracks. I'm actually studying them to figure out the direction. Now that we're in this forest here, it's become much more difficult to track her properly because we obviously have no visual on her whatsoever. And now her tracks have gotten all confused. Heading west. Oh man, and the trees are even thicker over here. God dang it. I think we might have lost her. I think that's going to be it for this one. Okay, what I'm going to do is back up a little bit. I'm going to go into stealth, and I'm just going to rest for a moment or two. Okay, stop. That gave her enough time. She just rested too, so she's no longer fatigued, but I was kind of hoping maybe we would spot her coming out of the tree line, but I don't think so. I have a feeling she just probably kept going. Okay, so let's jump out, go back to the map. Not entirely possible, or impossible we could get her still, but it's very unlikely. Sometimes if we return to the same area a couple of times... I don't see any more tracks leading out here. Well, not to worry. Can't get every hunt. No. Yeah, I think she's officially gone. Ah, well. Let's see, where are we? I think we've actually reached the northern coast here. Yeah, this is the ocean or the sea up here, right here. Interesting. If it was a reindeer herd, I would mark it, but a single elk, she's going to be gone. Okay, I'm way out of my range of a shelter. We're going to have to rest here on the overmap and hope it doesn't start to snow. All right, we're getting cold. Let's zoom in. We're going to start a quick fire here. Oh, good. We started right next to a tree. Okay, and is there any water? Let's just rest for a second. Small hours, we're sweating vigorously. Actually, let me zoom in again. Do I have my torch still? I do. All right, light up the torch. Whoa, that doesn't give me a lot of radius, does it? Better than no radius, though. I was kind of hoping to find some water. Where's the pond? There's got to be one. Yeah, one of the things I always say when hunting is don't push yourself to exhaustion. You know, don't hunt an animal beyond your limits. Sometimes you just got to accept the fact that they will get away from time to time. All right, let's see. God, there's no water here whatsoever. That's kind of crazy. All right, we'll zoom out. I'll just move a couple tiles. There's got to be some water here somewhere. Yeah, we definitely don't want to dehydrate. All right, there we go. So we can move around the map a little bit more. Let me take a look at where we're at. Kind of want to stay north. Let's move around, maybe explore some of this territory we haven't unlocked yet. We're getting cold, though. Yeah, you know what? I need to stop and pick up some firewood again. Let's go ahead and grab some limbs. All right, so I'm going to grab 3 of those. Push the rest. Let's grab 1 slender trunk, and we'll light the fire. Good. We'll sleep next to it for a moment to warm up. Beautiful. All right, we'll zoom out. We got better light. We're warm again. Yeah, let's explore a bit. We are by the coast. This was kind of the area I originally wanted to settle down in when we originally generated this world. Yeah, this is a really nice area. All open. We got access to the coast. Can set up some traps for seals and stuff, maybe. I like this. This is potentially where we'll set up a base at some point. But let's zoom in here, and yeah, we'll make a shelter at this location. Yeah, we're definitely far enough from any other camps that this is a good spot for it. Hitting the wrong buttons too much. There we go. Take it down. All right, let's zoom in here. I'm going to open up the water hole. Drink. All right, good, good, good. Let's see. Let's grab these, and let's go ahead and get the shelter made. Oops, no, don't step there. There we go. Good thing we don't need light to do this. All right, we are ready to drop. I think we'll be okay sleeping for just a couple of hours. There we go. Let's stand back up and continue our paused construction. Boom, we did it. We got a shelter made. Awesome. Let's drop. No, we're extremely tired. It's time to sleep. Keep going, buddy. One more. All right, looking good. Let's get a little water. And zoom out. We'll leave a note here. Green. Oops. There we go. Yeah, this is our farthest north camp. I actually like this area the best. It's really open. God, there's got to be reindeer up here somewhere. Oh, there's an elk. He's in the forest, though. Okay, we encountered him, I think, in the mire. If I can chase this girl south, this might be doable. Let's take a shot at her with the javelin we've got in our hand. Way overthrew that. Try another one. Nope. All right, we'll grab our javelins. So she's heading north. That's not ideal for us. Yeah, starvation is making my ability to sprint and stuff a lot more difficult. Yep, there she goes into the trees. And again, she might come back out of them, but going to stealth mode. Oh, she did come back out. There she is. She's still hanging out by the tree line, though. She's a little bit fatigued. Let's see if we can kind of position ourselves between her and the tree line. Actually, I'm going to take a shot at her. Ooh, that was a close one, but no. Oh, man, there's more trees right there. Yeah, we're kind of boxed in. This isn't the best hunting ground by far. But honestly, this kind of a pine forest is definitely better. You got a lot better visibility than in a spruce forest. So it's not totally without hope here. Yeah, pine isn't that bad. Because they're still decent. I still don't see her anymore, but I don't know where she went. But the problem is it will probably rapidly turn into a spruce forest before too long. And I've lost her tracks. I don't even know where she is. Yeah, let's not waste too much time with an animal that we can't get. Keep moving, but it's good. We're seeing more game up here for sure. Oh, there's another one. Let's rest for a second, recover as much as we can while we're on the world map. Let's drop that and that, and let's go for her. This is a much better condition, full visibility. There's a little bit of forest to the southwest of us, but this is much better. Okay, we're going to get a little closer to her. Take a toss with our javelin. Finally hit her. So we actually hit this animal. Suffering from a minor wound, puncture wound on the right foreleg. Good job, good job. All right. Oh, and she just fell in the water. All right, so she's freaking out. Yeah, she doesn't know what's going on. She's terrified. She's been injured. Now she just pooped. Let's see here. What are you doing? She's coming back at me. Let's try another toss at her. Hiding does make it easier to hit. I didn't know that. Oop, not that time. Might be tricky to recover this javelin. At some point I might have to abandon one of these if it's too out of my way. But I'll try and keep them. We did spend like 3 days making them. Slightly fatigued. I'm really tempted to sprint, but let's save that a bit. She's spooked. She's nervous about going around this water, too. I might be able to get her in melee. She's... Oh, no, there she goes. No, all right. No problem, no problem. Got plenty of runway to play with. There she is. All right. She's fatigued. We've got her midway to fatiguery. Let's get her. Let's get this girl. I'm hungry. Where's my nearest camp? Oh, good. It's super close. We don't have any cordage, but that's okay because it is winter, so the meat won't spoil before we can get her prepared. But let's not count our chickens before we've killed the elk, right? Yeah, the ice is still not strong enough, and she can kind of sense that. So she's not running directly over the ponds, which is actually good for us. Going to make her more fatigued. There she is. Oh, I think she's breathless. We've already got her. We've got her. Yeah, she's breathless at this point, so she's losing her speed. Take off the knife, right? Yeah. Switch that to the main hand. We're going to use the javelin to take her out, I think. Not from ranged, but as melee. Yeah, buddy, we did it. Another kill. Well, so far, hopefully I don't die in combat here. But, all right, let's strike her with the blunt end. I'm going to take out her legs. Oh, nice. She went unconscious on the first hit, boys. Let's go. Blunt to the skull. Return. Javelin just broke. Oh, well. I don't love that. I don't love that that broke. Oh, it's dead. Okay, we did kill it. Woohoo. We got it. Yes. Point to the skull. I like to avoid the points, although this animal's already got slight damage to its body, but it's all right. We're good now. We got her. I'm going to pull some branches off this tree so that in a moment or two we can start a fire. Let's go ahead and doesn't damage it if it's in the head. Okay, thank you, Nick. I appreciate that, buddy. That's helpful. I will do that from now on. All right, so we're going to skin her. Always skin the animal before you butcher. If you butcher and then you forget, and you're like, oh, shoot, I need to skin it still, you've ruined it. If you butcher the animal, the skin will get cut up. All right, and we've got a fine winter elk fur, another 21 pounds of unprocessed fur, and we've got hundreds of pounds of meat here at our feet right now. Let's take a brief moment to break the ice open, get a little drink, and we are going to butcher, but not that much. I'm not going to try and butcher the whole carcass, just enough. There we go, so we get a bit of meat that we can cook real fast. Cook, roast. Just all of it. Just do all of it, bro. There we go. Yeah, that's an extra too. If we can maintain it, it's still possible that I could screw up the process and it could lose its quality of fine, but we are fairly skilled at hide working. It's one of our better skills. We're talented at it, so we hopefully can maintain that. But most of this is going to actually be turned into clothing anyway. But we do need to get our hands on an axe. That is going to be one of the first things that we are looking to get. All right, I'm going to drop that. Partially cooked. Okay, so the meat is still cooking. I don't want to go to sleep while that's cooking. Finish cuts. Is it done? Not yet. Oh, don't forget the spirits. Thanks, bro. Appreciate you. Okay, so we've got roasted cuts. Let's grab one of those. So we are going to go into our spells and magic means. We're going to activate our general sacrifice, and I'm going to select one elk cut. There we go. We feel comfortable. We gently set the elk cut on the ground as a sacrifice. There you are. Okay, and it's time to eat. Oh, the first meat we've had in days. Oops, and I just zoomed out for no reason. All right. Yep, we got a sacrifice for sure. Okay, let's lay down and have sleep right on top of the bloody carcass. Keep going until we get cold. Beautiful. All right, up, eat. Fill that belly up. Oh my God. All right, let's continue to butcher. Good. Pick all that stuff up. Excellent. Are we able to carry that much? No, we're not. Let's take a drink. Let's go ahead and eat. Cook stuff, not the raw stuff. Okay, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to zoom out to the map. Where's my shelter? I think it's just to the north of us. It's right there. Okay, so I'm fully rested, but I'm carrying so much weight that my character is over the 100-pound penalty, which means we can't move. Physically, I cannot move my character right now. So what we need to do is drop some stuff. I'm going to drop 10 pounds of twigs, and I'm going to drop the bones. That didn't do it. Still at over 100% penalty, so I can't move. So I'm going to have to drop some of the meat. It's not ideal. We don't want to be leaving behind pieces of meat on the map because they will start to spoil, obviously, but it's better if I can move, right? So we're super close. What we're going to do now is I'm going to drop... we'll just drop the 200 pounds of meat, and we're immediately going to zoom back out, and we're going to return for that stuff. I don't want to leave this here. I'm going to grab the bones too. Come on. Actually, kind of want to grab this stuff too. Okay. Better. All right. Good, good, good. So we've got a bunch of meat. Let's drop. I'm going to drop a bunch of stuff here. We're going to be spending a few days at this location now. So I don't need to keep firewood on my person. All right, good. So, whoops, I did not mean to sleep, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and eat. And we're going to get this skin started first. I'm debating, do I go and cut down these little trees first so that we can get our cordage prepared? Or do I start the process with the skin? I think we'll start the process with the skin and then worry about preparing the meat after. Since we are in the winter time, we have a lot more leeway, to play with here in terms of time frame. Because if we were in the height of summer when it was real warm, this meat would go bad before I could even probably finish this fur. We would really have to prioritize the meat. All right, it's taken many, many hours to do that process. Let's eat again. I have to get another fire started and cook up some more stuff. All right, sun's gone down, but we still have vigor. We're still lively. So let's go into the next process. We're going to tan the hide using the fat that we got from the animal itself. And now the skin is at our feet. It's going to be ready by early morning. So we've got a little bit of time to cook. Let's get another fire going. I like to cook outside of the shelter. What? Let's grab, I'll just do 10 for now. All right, cook roast. There we go. All right, so I did pick up some sprued withies. We can make some of those, just a couple. but that'll get us started on our cordage. All right. Is that it? Is the meat ready? Not quite. Not quite. Knock a few branches off here. Okay, the meat is ready now. All right, so we'll grab that. If you leave the meat sitting by the fire too long, it will burn. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to like start cooking and then go to sleep or something. You'll ruin your food. All right, let's see. It's late evening. We're going to stay awake. I think we do have some spruce with these. So let's go ahead and just dry some of the meat. Oh my God, I got to pick it up. I hate how you can't just craft with stuff unless it's like on your person. All right, cook dry, full amount. There we go. How much does it need? 9 more feet. I don't like to use my fine cordage for drying meat. It's really not smart, but I will use a little bit of it there. I'll just keep that with me. All right, so it's lively. It's night. Let's sleep. Okay, we're going to eat some of our tasty roasted cuts. Beautiful. All right, it's still very dark to see. That's not ready yet. Let me look at the surroundings. There is a forest just over here. Let's go into stealth. Man, I've got no visibility right now. I'm just going to go stumbling through the forest looking for little saplings here. Oops. But it's about the best I can do at this point. I mean, I could just stand by our shelter and chop down firewood, but that gets boring. This way, we're being productive at the same time we're waiting for that meat to finish, or that skin to finish, I should say. I guess if I made a torch, it would probably be a little bit easier to see. Yeah, this is kind of futile here. All right, let's go back to the shelter. If I can make it out of the tree line. Okay, shelter. Let's see, what's at my feet? 10 branches. Okay. So let's get a little fire going. Excellent. And we're going to make a torch under utility articles. Torch, just one of them. I need 4 feet of tying equipment. That's okay. This nettle yarn, it wasn't very expensive. We can get more of it. I guess it's technically for crafting anyway, not for food preparation. So let's start the fire, and we'll activate our torch. Now we should be able to traipse around in the woods a little bit easier. The lit torch. Oh yeah, this is better. It's not perfect vision, but it is better. Yeah, with some of the mods that they have, the BAC mod, you can actually make cordage by soaking sticks in water. And then after they've soaked for, long enough time, they become malleable enough. Apparently you can twist them up into cordage, but that's not in the vanilla game, sadly. The best and quickest, most primitive cordage is just doing what I'm doing right now. Digging up these little small trees. Let's see, is that another one? And a big animal like this does take a lot of cordage. Now the good news is we'll get this cordage back. So once the meat is fully dried and it says it's time for us to pick it up, we'll also recover the cordage itself, and then we can reuse it. So after you've got like 3 or 4 kills, you do get to a point where you end up with a whole bunch of extra cordage, which is nice. All right, well, how many do we have? 8 of them. Probably not enough. In my experience, for a 200-pound elk, that's not going to be quite enough. Yeah, fishing, people always recommend that I try fishing or that I do fishing in the game. It's just never been one of the ways that I like to, provide food for myself. I like to get out there and explore, do active hunting and stuff. Although fishing is totally viable. It's like, I don't object to it because it doesn't bring in enough food or anything like that. Certainly not. I prefer more of an active hunt. Or trapping even. I like to trap too. I really enjoy setting up those trap fences because those can be extremely useful. All right, we're getting pretty fatigued here. Let's head a couple more. Let's head back to the shelter. Just box myself in there. Edvard. Nick just gifted a tier 1 sub. Edvard Kemp gets their first gift sub in the channel. Well, congratulations and thank you, Nick. Appreciate that, buddy. You guys are the best. Yeah, that really does help support the channel and me. So thank you guys. Appreciate that. For food, you almost exclusively active hunt. Yeah. You know, now with the mods, again, if you're playing with the mods, because they do add some really cool cooking recipes, it would not be a bad idea to just do some fishing just to like explore some of the recipes and stuff, you know. All right, so we're here by our fire again. Let's go ahead and make all those spruce, those little trees that I just cut down. Now we got to actually make them into the cordage. All right, let's repeat that. So I ended up with 14 small trees, and that came to a total of 28 4-foot pieces of cordage, weighing it at 14 pounds. That's a good amount. That is a good amount. So that hopefully will be able to process the 197 raw pieces of meat we've got. And of course, the cordage, you can imagine you're stringing up this meat. We're drying it out, so we need to string it up nicely so the air can get to it and circulate around it and stuff. We are very fatigued, so let's have a little meal. Some taste, rest in a bit, yeah. Or rest a bit. I think we do need to. All right, we rested, and I think, oh, I guess I could probably turn my torch off. I think this is ready, right? Yeah. You know, the food is fine. It's, again, it's winter, so it's not going to spoil. And I'm going to go ahead and continue with this skin. We're going to get this going into the next stage because this is a multi-stage process. This one actually doesn't take long. Yeah, just an hour. And it will be ready by the evening. At evening time, it's going to be on its final stage. Oh, and that reminds me, we're going to need to get a tree trunk here too. But in the meantime, let's get this meat. Let's finish this meat, people. Actually, you know what? I'm going to drop that cordage. Let's drop those items. All right. Should drop the meat too. Oops. Yeah, let me drop the meat that I'm carrying. This will make it just so I can click the buttons. I can just go boom, boom, boom. I have to cycle through a bunch of stuff in my inventory. Sift cook dry, enter, 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 space, enter. Just like that. So key, so crucial in these roguelikes that you master the commands. Look at me as I say that as I'm screwing it up. Yeah, you got to get those down. It's got to be like muscle memory. Otherwise, you're stumbling over everything. Good. I think that's the last batch. Is that it? Yep. Okay, so we have no more food. Well, that's not true. We have food. It's just we have no more raw meat to prepare. That's good. Let's drop. Oh, I ended up with only one spruce withy left. Wow. We had almost the perfect amount. I'm going to go ahead and pick up the yarn again and my torch. Yeah, that's good. All right, let's have a little meal. Good, good, good. It's not quite evening. I think we are tired. Let's go ahead and just sleep. Boy, I probably should have roasted a bit more of that elk up before I dried it all, because now we're almost out of food again. That's okay. It just puts the pressure on us to actually start hunting again. All right, so yeah, I kind of screwed myself here, didn't I? It's dark again, and I need a tree trunk. I should have gotten this during the daytime. There's no way I'm going to be able to see a tree trunk right now, so what do we do to kill time? Let's have a little meat. I mean, I guess I can just knock down some firewood here. Also, I'm going to go into the map real quick and adjust the mark, and we'll say Yeah, it's probably about 24 days or so, but I won't mark the exact time frame because that doesn't really help me in the. But okay, yeah, let's just repeat that command a couple times. I want my vigor to drop a level so that we can sleep and pass a bit more time. I wish there was some other alternate surface I could use to prepare this fur, but we need a tree trunk. There really isn't anything else until I can make a table, which we definitely can't do that right now. All right, so I'm just continually cutting down tree branches from this little tree next to me. There we go. All right, we should be able to sleep. And we have a bit better visibility now. Let's venture out. I'm going to be kind of peeking around here. What we'll do is while we're looking for this tree trunk, I'm going to grab even more of the little spruce trees. Because like I said, we're going to get right back out there and hunt. But this time we'll be prepared. We'll have the cordage already made up and ready. You can use the tables and villages. That's a good point, but I don't think we're going to lug the skin all the way there. We'll find a tree trunk. I'm confident. Sometimes you get lucky and they're just out in the middle of the pine mire and stuff, but like I said, this also allows us to get more of these little spruce trees for cordage. Killing 2 birds with 1 stone here. You need a beet or 2? Yeah, a stone will do. Could make a club. That's not a bad idea. But, alright. Getting a lot more of these little trees. Let's have a meal out here in the forest. Break out some of our roasted meat. Delicious. Okay, still looking for a tree trunk. There's no rush. Nothing's going to go bad or anything here. There we go. I just spotted one. 2 of them. All right, so we can't pick it up because it's like a multi-thousand-pound tree trunk. So we're just going to slide it. We're going to move it back up here. And this is, of course, draining my fatigue as I do this. This is a pretty strenuous activity, so this is also what you'll do a lot of once you get up to the point where you start building a log cabin in this game. You're going to need like tons of tree trunks, literal tons of them. All right, good. So we'll push that there. And do I have a stone? No, I didn't even grab a stone while I was in the forest because I'm a dummy. All right. Oh, look, there's a tree trunk right there. It's in the hidden. Is this in the shadows over here? Right there, there's a tree trunk. That's okay. It happens. Sometimes you venture far and wide for a resource which is literally in your own backyard. There's a stone. Beautiful. Everything we need. Provided by Mother Nature herself. That's right. The only thing you really need, I guess you don't even need that. I was going to say is a knife to start off with, but really you don't, because you could start with nothing and make a stone knife, I'm pretty sure. It would be difficult, but it's doable. All right, let's get some water. Good, and now it is time. We're going to finish this elk fur. Last thing, tea. There it is. This is the longest and most strenuous stage, too. So, yeah, told me we had to pause it because we're going to have to rest several times while we do this. But, all right, now we'll repeat. And, oh, we finished it. Nice, nice, nice. Just barely. Yeah, I should have rested probably that second time, but we did it. What did we end up with? Hey, look at that. We've got a fine winter fur, people. Woohoo! All right, that's amazing. Yep, yep, yep. Now we can take that and trade with it, or we can craft it up into even more clothing, which, to be honest, I think what we'll do is we'll do both. We'll do both of those things. If we, let's go into crafting, look at clothing, and I think what we need is the overcoat. Yeah, we have a cloak, a hood, we've got footwear, mittens, leggings, and a shirt. So really the next big piece is this. So we're going to grab that and that. I think, like I said, we'll do both. So I'm going to make this. Then there'll be a little bit left. There'll be like 6 pounds or so left. And then we'll take that and we'll trade that scrap. Yeah, we have 7.2 pounds of fur left because they'll still trade for this, even if it's not like the full thing. And we can almost certainly get a hand axe out of this, you know? So, yeah. Problem is, I don't know if this culture over here is going to have the hand axe that we want. These guys, the Greys that we've been trading with? Should we maybe go to the Sartola tribe down here? We might want to venture far, yeah, south to go for a hand axe. I don't know. Maybe these guys would have one. I'm honestly not sure. I don't really trade enough with these guys. Maybe it is worth a try because we are so close. I can shoot down here in a day. We can kind of start to travel south through their territory, you know, opening up other villages so that by the time we get down here, if there isn't an axe, then we can just kind of shoot over to the Sartola and, you know, you see what I mean? We'll just kind of make that route. If we find an axe, then we'll just double back and hang out here and continue to hunt and stuff because this is definitely the area that I want to build a base at up here near the coast in this general vicinity. I like this spot. It's very open. And of course, access to the ocean means there's certain animals you can only find on the coast, like seals and stuff, which would be really good. If we could get a seal, oh my God, that's going to be so much meat. You wouldn't believe it, people. But I think all that is going to have to wait for the next one, people. I do appreciate everybody coming by for the stream today. Like I said, we will be continuing next weekend too. I might even hop on and do an extra stream if I can, if work allows and stuff. But thanks again to everybody who donated subs today. You guys are the best. I really appreciate it. And we'll be back tomorrow with some Cataclysm. So I hope you'll join me again. And I will see you all on the next one.